Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Footy Travellers Podcast.
What's up, everybody? It's Colin here.
And Mike.
We are the Footy Travelers, and this is the Footy Travelers Podcast.
Belovedly known to many as FTP.
If this isn't your first FTP episode, you've heard past episodes of Footy Travelers journeying great distances to see their national teams compete, or crossing international borders in unique ways.
You've heard episodes regaling you with tales of memorable ferry rides to major tournament matches.
And this episode has all of that and more, because today we're talking to the man who put the king in walking and journeyed through 5 countries, not by plane, not by train or automobile, but by foot.
Let's get into today's episode,
where
we're bringing you a conversation we had with Tom Stoker, an Englishman and a Three Lions supporter who, like us, also attended the Euro 2024 tournament this past summer. Now, as plenty of us crossed international borders and utilized modern modes of transportation to get to the Euro Games this summer, Tom kept it simple, taking the purest approach and walking over 500 miles over the course of 16 days between his home in Manchester and Gelsenkirchen for England's opening match against Serbia. Tom put us all to shame, and here he is to tell us all about it.
Well, Tom, first and foremost, welcome to the Footy Travelers Podcast. It's great to see you face to face in real life, kind of, versus just seeing your Instagram page. We're going to talk about what drew us to your content in just a minute, this epic journey you took during the Euros. But because this is, the first time kind of meeting you, tell the listeners, where you're from, where you are now, and what do you usually do when you're not really walking great distances?
So my name's Tom Stoker. I'm from Halifax. I live in Manchester now. And my day job, I'm a video editor. But I put that to the side this summer to walk to the first England game of Euro 2024.
Yeah. Well, that explains the quality of what we've seen from you so far. So
I was just going to say that. Yeah, that makes more sense. So, I mean, I got to ask, either you are the most literal Kyle Walker fan, or you must have lost a bet or something. But tell us what the impetus was for this epic journey to get to Germany.
So to be fair, and I don't know if I should lead this, but I'm not even the biggest football fan.
Oh.
I know that's maybe not the ideal way to start, but because you guys obviously very much like football. But I love major tournaments, and I love the excitement that comes with them. And I also love a challenge. And I thought putting the two together, it was just a perfect opportunity to walk there. There wasn't a massive reason behind it. I mean, I probably should have done it for charity, something like that, but I didn't really organise anything in time, and I was really excited to do it and to set myself a challenge, so I thought I'd just give it a go. Yeah.
I mean, you say that you're not a football fan, so maybe it kind of excludes you from our audience, but honestly, we have met so many people that are in the same camp that are more they just like a challenge. They like to just do something that's a bit more unique. And so I think it is kind of fitting that you're talking to us. But I want to know, do you walk everywhere? Are you a runner? Or was this just purely, spontaneous?
Yeah, why this challenge in particular?
I enjoy a walk. I wouldn't say I'm a massive walker. I walk to work and stuff like that. But I just felt I like getting places under my own steam. I think it's a really exciting way to travel, and it's really rewarding. And it's just an absolute roller coaster, like emotionally, to walk that far. And it's just something that I felt like I just, when I had the idea to do it, I just had to kind of follow through with it, because you can have a lot of them ideas, can't you, of like sort of big projects you want to do, but I think sometimes you just got to pick one and just go for it. And I'm really happy I did, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the challenge of it, I think I've seen you in your social media content as a runner. Do you do run quite a fair bit, or
a little bit? Yeah.
Okay.
I've always sort of been running as like just a head clearer. Do you know? Do either of you two run?
Yeah, both of us do. Yeah. I ran this morning.
Did you? Yeah. How far did you go?
Oh, just a little, like 3.5 mile morning run before the day. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you know when you run it, like, just sets you up for the day? Like, yeah. And yeah, I've always been running, but recently I have been doing like a couple big walks, because it's hard to run that distance.
Yeah. Like, for example, what have some of your big walks been recently, or runs with walking?
What classifies as a big walk to you?
So I walked across Wales, I think either last summer or 2 summers ago.
Okay.
Which was I've kind of been gradually building up to this one. This was like the biggest walk I've ever done.
Okay.
So you're an experienced long distance walker in some capacity.
I don't know if I'd say that.
I mean, you walked across Wales. I mean, that's longer than many people.
He's hesitant to put the label on it.
Right.
I would say I'm still in the novice category of long walks, but certainly I used that experience during this walk. And I don't know if I could have done this walk without my previous experience, to be fair.
Did this idea come about during a walk?
Yeah, when did it come about, timing wise?
I would probably imagine it did. I think I remember
there's a lot of time to think, you know.
Yeah, I remember I was like I was sat in the library before work, just on my laptop. This would be in like January this year, I would say.
Okay.
And I'd been sort of thinking about walking to a major tournament for a while, and I was there. I had a bit of money in my bank account, and I was like, I just need to buy the tickets, because then if I bought the tickets, I've got to do it. So that was January, I would say, when I locked in that I was going to walk it.
Okay.
I had done zero training at that point.
So it sounds like you gave yourself a good 6 months to sort of think about it and prepare it and plan it out. Run us through some details, about that planning process. How long did the run?
We love the logistics.
Yeah. How long did the walk take? As far as like miles and time, and I don't know, just if you can describe the route a little bit, and how much time did you plan, or how did you go about identifying how much time you needed to do it? All those things.
Yes, that is a good question. I like, basically the plan was loose from the start, which would lead to some problems later, but it was fairly unstressful in the planning phase. I just put in Google Maps my house to the Veltins-Arena in Germany.
Gelsenkirchen, I believe.
Yes, Gelsenkirchen, yeah. And then I just sort of went from there, which was a bad idea. I would seriously recommend not doing that, because I was going along so many roads where I was like, this is definitely not a good idea.
From a traffic point of view, or?
Yes.
Okay.
So you know the A5, one of the big roads in England. It's like the heavyweight division of roads, and I was quickly realised I was in a few weight classes above where I should be in terms of road logistics. So definitely, if anyone else was planning this, I would say don't do that. Have a good look at the road you're taking. But I couldn't be bothered in a sense to do that, which was a bad idea.
Okay.
So I have a question that Colin and I have we've been joking about, because we love to walk when we travel as well. Not nearly as many distances.
Yeah, not necessarily to the destination, but once we do arrive,
once we're there, we like planes. So, but we've found that when we use Google Maps as well, and we try to see how long it takes to walk somewhere, we often find that Google Maps estimate of time is a bit longer than it actually is. It's maybe not anticipating the speed at which we walk. Have you found, now that you are a Google Maps walker, the same feeling?
Yes, I agree with that. But what I would say is, like, with a walk that's multiple days, Google Maps will not factor in sleep,
right,
and stuff like that. So I don't know what it would say if you put the route I did into Google Maps. It might say like, what would it say? Like 5-6 days. But actually, for me, it was like 16. Yeah, because that's straight, like just having Red Bulls every 5 minutes on day 5.
Wow.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. It does. Google Maps does give you that bit of extra time, which is nice, because then you always arrive early, don't you?
Yeah,
right.
There you go.
Good
so
feature.
You said that Google Maps, if you did it straight, was 5 to 6 days. You obviously didn't do it straight, or I don't believe you did. But so then how long in reality did it actually take?
So it took me 16 days.
Okay.
So overall, that was 585 miles I calculated I did, which is an average of 36.5 miles a day, roughly.
Say that one more time.
A marathon and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, 585 miles in total, 16 days.
Wow.
Which is 36.5 miles a day.
36. That's wild. Good for you.
That's
thanks, mate.
What countries did you go through then? Obviously, you started in England and ended in Germany, but along the way, the route was per Google's recommendation.
Yeah, Google sent me to France, then Belgium, then the Netherlands, and then Germany, I believe.
Okay. So you had to cross the English Channel. You surely didn't like swim in addition to walking.
I mean, there are other modes of transportation. I'd imagine he walked himself onto a ferry or something.
Yeah. What was that like?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was really good. I splashed out on the business lounge or something. It was like £10 extra, and had the best sleep of my life on the P&O business lounge.
Okay.
It was honestly the best thing you can ever do if you get in a ferry. I would say take the upgrade.
Okay. Yeah.
How many days had you already started to walk? Like, because obviously you were somewhat tired. Were you like, that's not halfway? It's got to be like third.
Surprisingly, it was halfway, like almost perfectly. So kind of tactically in the walk, that was like a good point to aim for, because the ferry was kind of set in stone. Like I could move it later, but if I made it later, it kind of meant that there wasn't a lot of hope to get to the end destination. Because you can imagine if you're not halfway by the halfway point, you're not going to get any fresher. So it's kind of done. So it was really good and motivating to have that ferry locked in, to kind of know that I have to be on the ball and get there by the halfway point.
Yeah, it was an important milestone for you.
Yeah, it was massive,
So that was your best sleep, you said, but you obviously had to have slept in other places other than just the ferry. So where were you sleeping, and how are you kind of identifying where to sleep?
So I was operating on sort of a 50-50 hotel tent split. So I'd have a night hotel, and then maybe a couple of nights in the tent, and then like a treat night in a hotel. Do you know what I mean? So like freshen up, kind of try and split up. But yeah, I just had a little one-man tent with me.
Okay.
I called him Tent Alexander-Arnold.
Hey, I'm clapping. I'm clapping.
Well done.
Yeah, it was good. We had some good times in that tent, and yeah, it was a split. And for the majority, I was in campsites, which is really good. Like a shower at the end of the day was like some of my favourite moments. The whole walk with them, like just a warm shower. It was incredible. And then one night I slept on a golf course, which was interesting.
Legally or illegally?
I don't know the specific laws, but I can imagine if the greenkeeper of the golf course saw me there, he wouldn't have been particularly happy.
Yeah.
But it was probably a very soft pad to be sleeping on for sure. Manicured.
Yeah, good turf. Yeah. Really good turf. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, so you kind of mentioned wanting to get halfway through your journey, physically versus time wise. And did you feel like you had time to stop and see things? Was there anything that you kind of mapped out along the route that was maybe worth seeing, or was this more of a heads down, I have my goal in mind, I need to make it to kickoff kind of operation for you? What was your mentality there?
It was, I would say, more business than leisure.
Okay.
Like I had the goal. It was ambitious for me. I'm sure a lot of other people would have found it quite straightforward, but it felt like a lot for me physically. So I was like locked in for most of it. But a little treat I did give myself was I went through Wembley Stadium. Like I mapped that in because I've never been to Wembley.
Okay.
And it's really nice. Like sort of, I don't know. Have you two ever been?
Have been.
Yeah.
Both the old and the new one, actually. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Do you know the big kind of walkway as you walk up to it?
Yeah, there's a particular name for those stairs, right? Something, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, very famous.
Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it? Like, cause I don't know many stadiums where there is. Well, I guess a lot of them do have, but not many I've been to where you have such a long run up to like take it all in.
Yeah.
That was one treat I gave myself, was putting that on the route, because I thought that'd be really nice. It was quite a special moment. That.
Okay.
So
pretty on theme for your walk as far as sites go.
Yes, definitely.
Let's ground ourselves a second here. Tom's from England, and Tom was walking to go see England play football. Yeah. So it makes sense that you would stop by Wembley, the birthplace, the home of English football, to kind of honor it on your way to hopefully see, at that point you were still, I would imagine, believing that England had an exceptional chance to win the tournament, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, got to be up there.
Yeah,
that's part of the epic journey, right? Is the excitement of what is to come at the end of it. It's not as cool to walk home from Germany to England after not winning it, right?
Oh yeah, we got to ask about the return trip too. Before we get there, though, did you make it? Did you make it to Gelsenkirchen in time for kickoff? Okay, just to clarify.
I did, yeah. Right. I made it with like a few hours to spare, to be fair. So I could go and have a shower beforehand. It was ideal. I was a bit worried, because you can't. I had a massive bag on.
Yeah,
you can't take that in.
Right.
So I was like, if it's going down to the wire, I don't know what I'm going to do with all my stuff, and I don't want to be sat next to someone,
right,
smelling how I currently do. So yeah, it was ideal. Yeah. And
was there a fear that you may have had to like sprint the last hour?
At times, yeah, because it was close for a lot of it. Like I kind of worked hard at the start to try and give myself that buffer, so do a bit extra than I needed to, sort of day after day, to build myself up a little bit of margin of error. But it was close, to be fair, and it was quite scary. But yeah, so happy to make it with a bit of time. Yeah.
How much time?
How
many hours?
Would say, I can't specifically remember how many hours, but I had time to go get a Domino's pizza and have a shower.
Pizza and shower. Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's all I needed. Yeah.
That's a sponsorship right there. I got enough time to get a Domino's pizza before a match.
Yeah, just trying it in there. They've given me 200 quid to say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you made it to the Gelsenkirchen match, which is a major accomplishment. So did you go to any other matches? Or was that it? And you were fine with it?
For me, that was it. Yeah, I finished the walk on Sunday, and I was back in work on Tuesday. So I would have loved to stay around, but like I could only get like a couple of weeks off work. So, and that was kind of why I had to do it. Kind of push myself as much as I did because I couldn't get the amount of time for a leisure trip. It was more like just I had to cram it all in as much as I could.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I would have loved to stay around and kind of took in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I guess you guys did that, didn't you?
We were there for a little while, at least 5 to 6 days, I want to say, in Germany. Total of 3 matches. Mike one in Leipzig, right?
Yeah.
And then we met up in Dortmund, and then we did Stuttgart. And then we just kind of took in the atmosphere at a beer garden in Munich on our last night. So,
very nice.
So then you, it was great. It was phenomenal. I mean, packed with a lot of away kits for Germany, that pink away kit that they have.
Oh yeah, that was a good kit.
But it's a huge, streamed on the big screen, and just, they had both inside and outside, I think, viewing parties, and it was phenomenal. DJ in between, I think that was round of 16 games, Germany being the second one after the Italy match we wanted to get to. So it was a party. What can I say?
Oh, that sounds incredible.
Yeah. But it sounds like, so then you didn't walk home. You just took a flight or train?
Nah, I retired. I retired from walking for a few weeks after that, yeah.
Touche.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you, speaking of transportation and alternative ways of traveling, did you ever think of just turning back or picking up a ride or hitchhiking to make sure you got there in time? Any moments like that?
I didn't, see fair, because I just knew like I wanted to do it. So getting in a car kind of wasn't, it just wasn't part of what I wanted to do. But to be fair, I wasn't really offered a lift until I got to like...
Well, you haven't had that shower yet.
No, I had the final shower. But I had been offered 0 lifts until I got to like, I would say 1 or 2 days away from Gelsenkirchen. So like the closest I've ever been. And then people, I think maybe 2 or 3 people stopped and asked me if I wanted a lift. And I'd tell them, they'd first say, where are you going? Mm-hmm. And I'd say Gelsenkirchen. And they kind of like shook their head like, what are you doing? Like,
I think you might be lost.
They're like, you're never going to get there. And I was like, do you not understand? This is just the last bit now. This is like party time. Yeah. Like, it's a victory lap, this bit. But it was really funny to see that reaction. Like, I remember this man at a petrol station, I told him I was going to Gelsenkirchen. I was only like a day away, and he just shook his head and he went, oh, it's too far, mate. It's too far. I was like, no, honestly, it'll be all right. I think it'll be all right.
You have no idea, sir.
Was he German?
Yeah, he was. It took a while to understand what we were
he was probably like, what is this crazy Englishman doing?
This is very...
He's like, we have trains here.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. He was fuming. Wasn't a fan of the idea.
You weren't indicating anywhere on your person like that you were headed in a direction. You just looked like an average, hitchhiker essentially to any of the people that drove by you, right? You weren't like announcing that you're on this journey.
Well,
yeah, no. Oh, yeah. To be fair, I was wearing a full England kit with shin pads.
Listeners, I just want you to imagine an Englishman. Full kit wanker style, backpack on, just trouncing through Germany. Yeah,
but not cleats though. He's wearing like hiking boots, right?
Well,
yeah, no studs.
Good question. Okay, no studs. Okay,
no studs. So I mean, it wasn't fully pronounced where you were headed, but it was very pronounced where you were from.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. But to be fair, I think at the start it was like 16 days away. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't that obvious that
Right.
that was kind of where I was going, because it was a long time until the tournament. I know it's only 2 weeks, but it's still a while to be like making your way there. Do you know what I mean? So,
well, how many jerseys did you bring? I guess because you mentioned maybe needing a shower by the end, and did you have a rotation or were they all Kyle Walker jerseys as well? 2 questions
there. So I had 1 home kit and 1 away kit.
Gotcha.
So I wore the home kit for 8 days straight whilst I was on home soil.
Right.
Let's not forget that that's a white kit as well.
Yeah,
no, I can probably. Do you mind if I get it now?
No,
yeah, grab
go for it. Yeah.
Can't wait to see this yellow kit.
Yeah.
The sweat white. Sweat Walker.
So this is the Kyle Walker jersey.
There it is.
Look at that thing. That looks.
Yeah.
That's pretty
all right.
solid for.
That's Spanish oxyaccident, or whatever it's called, done that. You can kind of tell this
Where your pack was, right?
Yeah, and I guess where my armpits were.
Yeah. Good thing that's blue up in there. Yeah.
You need to frame this thing.
You should get Kyle Walker to sign it and then frame it.
Yeah, you should. This episode's going to get him to sign it.
He has no idea where his jersey has been.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to know you.
Yeah,
but
that's incredible.
So apart from not really wanting to call for a ride or hitchhike, were there any sort of harrowing moments? Did you have like a worst moment, or was it fairly easy?
Yeah, it was. There was some good moments, but also some quite difficult ones. And I would say my hardest spell came quite early on. So I said a little bit about the A5, and it was literally like just one of the hardest 24 hours of my walking career, I could say.
It's a long way.
It was like, yeah. I joined this busy road, the A5, and literally as soon as I joined it, everything just went downhill. I've really quickly realised that there's so many lorries and trucks, and for some reason there's a big grassy verge, but they had let it grow so overgrown, and so I couldn't walk on it, and I couldn't really walk on the road because there's all these massive trucks.
Right.
So I kind of had to reroute around it, and it wasn't easy to do, and I just ended up in all these farmers' fields, just getting stung by nettles.
Oh wow!
And then I was getting quite lightheaded because I wasn't eating enough. Because it was a bit of an eating competition as well as just trying to walk. Because if you don't eat enough, for me anyway, I just get lightheaded, and I know I will pass out, and then that day's kind of done. Just have to lie down. And if you have too many days like that in a row, then the cumulative mileage you have to build up just becomes kind of impossible to do. So I just had to make sure I ate enough. And on this day, this tough period, I was looking up. I was kind of outside of Morrison's. I don't know if you know do you know Morrison's?
I'm not familiar personally.
So like a supermarket.
Okay.
Oh,
gotcha.
Okay.
And I was just kind of on the bench outside. I was Googling on my phone best anti-inflammatory foods.
Yeah.
Because my feet were swelling up. And I read that olive oil and mackerel and tomatoes are really good anti-inflammatory foods.
Okay.
So I went in there and I bought a little bottle of olive oil, maybe 200 ml, tin of mackerel, and a can of chopped tomatoes. And I consumed all that.
Interesting.
And I thought, this is the best idea I've ever done. I'm going to feel so healthy after this. All my inflammation issues are going to be a thing of the past. And then I managed to get in a hotel that night, and I'd had my mackerel, everything sort of sitting in my stomach there. Yeah. And it gets to 3 a.m, and I wake up, and I'm like, oh, it's not good.
Uh-oh.
It's not good news at all. And this had been hard fought as well, by the way. Imagine trying to get a tin of mackerel and 200 millilitres of cold olive oil, consume that after a big day walking. I was it'd take me half an hour to do, just lying on this hotel room floor.
Yeah.
and I was so happy I did it. And then, it all just came back up, and I was like, devastated, because it'd been such a battle to consume them calories.
Right. Did it have any effect before it came back?
I think it must have been in my system long enough
to
do some, like, for me to absorb some good nutrients, because the next day I woke up and my legs felt fresh.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that I wouldn't do it again. I think in some ways it
there you
works.
go. Yeah, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. It must have worked.
Yeah, I'll be back to Morrison's.
So one very quick question. You mentioned you were using your phone for Google Maps. Did you have a printed map? Like, did you just have one that was not connected to the internet?
Yes, I did. It's called a Garmin eTrex. I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, it runs off AA batteries, I think, and it has the routes loaded onto an SD card, so it's really good backup plan.
This section of the podcast is brought to you by Garmin.
Right.
Yeah, shouting out a lot of brands here. That was really good backup plan. The only problem is I lost that in London, so I did the rest of the route with kind of no navigational backup. But I was really lucky that I didn't lose my phone or anything, to be fair.
Wow. So do you think that anyone could do this, or is your background, I mean, it seems like you were dealing with a lot of things, and you mentioned yourself as being a novice long distance walker, and it sounds like there have been a lot of trials and tribulations along the way. So maybe what kind of advice do you think you could give to people that would maybe want to pursue something like this, as you've now experienced it and learned it?
Yeah, I would say definitely training, like, make sure you're physically prepared, which I wasn't. Like, I did some big walks in training, but I didn't do them back-to-back days where what you walk on tired legs. I just skipped that completely, which was a bad idea. I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
No.
Okay. I can't think what I was going to. But yeah, just make sure you're training, and that's, to me, to be fair, that's the best bit, is just having that 6 months. You've got something to be excited about, and you've got a little project to be doing. Like, that is the best bit for me, is just working every day towards something. It just brings me so much excitement and gives me sort of that purpose for a 6 month project to kind of build my body to be able to handle something like this. It's just, I find it so exciting to work towards that.
Yeah. So you don't think anyone could just do this off the streets? Surely you'd have to prepare a bit.
I think you definitely could. Like, it's just in this time frame for me, I needed to train. I'm sure there are many people who would be able to just do this off the street. Like, you see them people who are just like different animal. Yeah. I think there's definitely people who could, but I don't think I could do it without training there.
Gotcha.
And willpower can take you a lot of places, right? And there's a lot of hope and optimism in terms of what you were about to, hopefully be able to see in the England team. So to that point, and as we as football fans know, the English fans are always very optimistic about their team. So what is it about that? Like, do you think that that optimism that was driving you was because of your faith in the team, or you're just a very strong-willed person?
And for the listeners' benefit too, I'll point everyone towards Tom's Instagram account. There's a really powerful encouragement video that he put out as he's sort of making his way closer and closer to Gelsenkirchen. But yeah, it's just so optimistic. What's that about?
Do you know what? I think this is something I've been thinking about, and it's like, England fans. Do you know what? When you're saying could anyone do this walk? I think anyone could, but I think a lot of England fans couldn't, because they do not have the optimism to be able to turn a negative situation into positive. And that is something that frustrates me so much. Like, you see in that game, I can't remember what game. I'm really bad at this. The game that Bellingham scored, the kind of
the last minute one.
Yes. Yeah. Who were they playing?
Round of 16. I actually have that written down. That was Slovakia. in the round of 16. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just need to find the courage somewhere in your heart to believe right to the end. And I feel that a lot of the energy I was feeling in that moment was just people just didn't believe. And it's like, what is the point in not believing until the last second? Like what? Like if you were right and we're not going to go through, and all it is you can say at the end, like, yeah, I knew we weren't going to go through. It's like, well, what victory is that? Like, you just may as well believe till the end.
Yeah.
Like literally the last second. And a lot of England fans don't do that. And I think that's why, obviously, I would always get behind someone if they were attempting war like this. But I doubt you could do it, lads. If that's your mentality, I don't know if it's going to happen for you. Like, you have to be able to be positive, even in the most difficult moments. Like, find a positive somewhere, and always believe that.
Tom, are you like a secret ghostwriter for Ted Lasso? I feel like I just got like the whole belief speech just like slapped on the wall. That was moving.
I've never seen Ted Lasso.
Oh.
I'm not surprised. You know who he is, though, right? You know the show.
Yes, yeah.
You know the concept.
How many people? All right, quick poll question. How many people in England do you think have or have not seen it? Is it majority have or haven't?
I would say majority. I know a lot of people who hype up Ted Lasso and tell me I should watch Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
I think you're a pretty positive guy, and I would imagine that this would resonate with you. I think you would really like it.
Yeah. Producers of Apple TV, if you're listening or watching this episode on YouTube, and you're looking for a fill-in for Jason Sudeikis in the next season, might we suggest Tom Stoker?
Yeah, happy to step into the role if they want me.
Yeah. Well,
so
speaking of which, has there been any media attention other than that one video we saw on Instagram, or what's that been like?
It was just that one video, to be fair, which I'm quite happy about, because I like even this here talking to you. Obviously, you're both very nice lads, but I find it extremely daunting. Like talking to you. So I'm quite happy. It's been fairly minimal, to be fair.
Okay.
But yeah, that even doing that interview, like, I don't know if because when I'm nervous, I'm extremely monotonous in my voice, and like that interview was like, I sound like the most boring man on the planet, and it's like.
I think I suffer from that as well. So you're in good. You'll never walk alone there, Tom. I know you're
So you obviously weren't doing it for the media attention, which I think makes it even more humbling. And just, doing it for what seems like a lot of the pure and authentic reasons, which is great. And we're glad that you don't have, any fear or nervousness talking with us, because we try to keep it relaxed and comfortable.
Keep it light. Yeah.
And in a way that we do that, actually, when we do bring people on, and sometimes we'll do a little rapid fire questions, just some like quick ones as we move into the latter part of the episode. So hopefully this doesn't feel as pressure filled than like maybe trying to get to Gelsenkirchen in under a day.
No,
but
there are no wrong answers to our rapid fire questions.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But before we do that, Tom, you've inspired me with all this talk about your walking, and I'm currently standing upon a walking pad as we speak. And so I'm gonna.
Mike, are you gonna walk with it for us?
I am.
Wow.
Oh man,
I'm inspired now.
How many? All right, real quick. First rapid fire question: how many miles do we think Mike can walk on the walking pad during rapid fire by the time it ends? Is there a mileage counter on there?
There is.
Okay.
I'm currently at a 1.5 speed.
Oh wow, yeah, I can see the shoulders moving now, back and forth. Well, this is nothing but appropriate. So, Mike, why don't you get us going then? You've got yourself going. Get us going on rapid fire.
All right. Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling good now. I got the energy going. My feet are moving. So, all right. First question: who is your favorite English player, current or past?
It's got to be Saka.
Hey.
Okay.
I guess I want to follow up then with maybe out of order question, Mike. So pardon me. you're in Manchester, but you like soccer. Are you a City or United guy?
I support Arsenal for some reason.
God, I knew I loved you from the moment I saw your first video. If you haven't listened to us, Tom, I myself, bit of a gooner. Mike's a Chelsea Blue, and your answer really makes me happy. That's all I'm going to say there.
I feel like you guys back-channeled somewhere in here. And
swear that's the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh, man.
How painful is it to have to support Gareth Southgate?
It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure.
Okay.
I mean, you've got a locket with his face in it. So are you going to replace that picture in the locket, or is he going to remain with you?
That will stay with me to the day I die, I think. I love the guy. I think he's a top lad.
I feel like you are in the minority in that from English fans, but I love that you back your boy. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is extremely difficult being a fan of Gareth Southgate. Well, it was during the tournament, but you just got to back him, haven't you?
Yeah,
right. That's
no choice.
You have no choice. Exactly. All right. So you mentioned that you've done some walks before. Have you done any other of the famous great walks like Camino de Santiago or Milford Track? And if so, have you had ones that have been your favorite, or maybe ones that you plan to do?
I have. Where are those two based?
Camino de Santiago is in Spain, and Milford Track is
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Oh wow, yeah. No, I will look into them. I've never done sort of walks like that. Like it's always kind of been ones that I have kind of thought of and put into Google Maps and done very little research on the actual route that I've done personally. But I might look them up actually.
Yeah. Well, here's a question for you then. If you had to choose between Camino de Santiago in Spain, Milford Track in New Zealand, or I'll throw a third in there, the Inca Trail, I think in Peru, which one would it be?
I think the New Zealand one.
Okay.
Just because I love the Lord of the Rings.
What better reason? So you mentioned no studs on your walk, but what was your footwear of choice? And did you bring any extra pairs as backup?
So my footwear of choice was a pair of running shoes. It's a pair that when I set off, they were already pretty worn down. I should have got a fresh pair, but they were the ones I ran 100 miles in them, like on the width of England, the summer before.
Oh, wow.
And I basically didn't buy any new trainers in time for this walk. And by the time I was in Germany, obviously having walked sort of 500 miles on them, I could feel like how decompressed the foam had become. Yeah. And I definitely should have had a fresh pair for myself.
Wow. So real quick, did you follow up rapid fire question? Did you do that 100 miles across England without sleeping straight or?
Yes. Oh, wow. That was straight. Yeah.
You're an animal.
Wow. All right. Yeah, you are an animal.
Quick check-in, Mike. What's our distance so far?
Let's see. How do I check that here?
What is it?
I've got 400 steps in.
Okay.
Yeah, 400 steps. I think it's like a quarter of a mile, or almost a quarter of a mile.
All right, let's see if we can get to 1,000. I think you have the next one. Go for it.
All right, I got to pick up my speed then. All right, we're going to go 2.25. All right. So, I mean, you've traveled some pretty great distances. Have you ever considered being a competitive walker? I mean, the 2028 Olympics in LA could be a pretty good debut.
Is that an event, is it? Walking?
Yeah, speed walking.
Mike's training for it right now.
Yeah.
See?
I'm nearly there. I mean, now I've heard of it, I feel like I'm not fast enough for the speed one. Like, because is that the one where you get, your arms, is it like a bit of a...
Yeah, you can't, it's really like hip based, I think. You can't, the rule is you can't have both feet off the ground or something like that. Yeah. There has to be 1 foot on the ground still.
Yeah.
I know Ted Lasso's not in your lineup, Tom, but I think there's a great, if you're familiar with other American TV shows, there's a great Malcolm in the Middle episode where the dad gets into speed walking and just I think it's Bryan Cranston who plays Walter White in Breaking Bad. Anyway,
do you like it? Do you get into the sport? Is it good?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, does he find it enjoyable?
The dad or Mike?
The dad. Well, both.
Oh,
I'm loving it.
I think his character is kind of he takes everything like really seriously. So I'm sure he like really got into it, and then I forget where that plot trailed off. But yeah. Okay, so you mentioned the Garmin and your shoes and some shin guards on your trip. But what was the smallest detail that you're glad you paid attention to on your trip? Or maybe one that you should have. I don't know.
I would say it was the midday monster.
Say more.
Which was a routine that I developed where basically I would not get my headphones out until halfway for the day. So I'd have a goal of a amount of distance, say like 38 miles, until what's half of 38?
That should be 19.
Until that point, I would have zero headphones, no music, just me and the sounds of the road. And then by the halfway point, I could get my headphones out, and I would always have my midday monster. And the combination of hearing music for the first time in like hours and getting the caffeine, the warm buzz of the caffeine was such a lift, and it was essential for morale by the end. Like, 'cause I knew I've got our midday monster, my headphones are coming out in a little bit, I'm going to be okay. That's the one thing that kept me going.
Follow-up question to that. Did you do that for like battery? Like, did you just not listen to headphones, or was it more just like a motivating point for you to just say, I don't want to be on my headphones the whole trip?
Yeah, it was more, I would say it was to get the speed in the first half of the day. Because if I love listening to podcasts and I love music, if I can't have that, I'm going to get the first half done as quick as I can. So then I've got my treat.
It's a motivator.
Yeah.
We have a podcast we can recommend for you.
No, I wish I would have discovered this before whilst I was on the walk, because it would tie in with the journey.
Right.
So back to the team itself. Are you satisfied with the English finish, like making it to the final?
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I was trying to explain this point. Like, as long as you get to the final, it doesn't really matter what happens because you've had the whole journey. It's like, if there would have been another game after the final, then you want to win it because you can have one more, night with your friends watching the football. But it's like after that, it's like there is nothing after it. Obviously, it would be good to win, and the night when you win is going to be bigger than the night if you lose.
Yeah.
But it's not the end of the world because you've had the whole journey. You've had so many games to watch, like so many days at the pub. Like you've had the whole journey, so it's not the end of the world to lose a final. I don't think, might be a controversial view.
It's a good I think it's a good attitude. Yeah.
I think it's kind of a microcosm to your journey too, right? Like the lead up to getting to Gelsenkirchen was the important part, right? And getting to the final is a testament to how gifted and talented that team is, and anything can happen in a final. And so it is unfortunate to support your boy Gareth. I agree. I think he brought them to some really big matches, to some really long distances in major tournaments, and not being able to close them out, I feel like that's tough to not keep a manager for that.
They were also playing Spain, who are firing on all cylinders, I think, throughout their federation right now. So, I mean, Women's World Cup winners, Euro 2024 winners, Olympic gold medal winners. Yeah, I mean, good on the Three Lions for, I think, making it that far too. I like that attitude, Tom. They made it. You made it to your destination. Mike, how far have you made it?
Let's see.
How many steps do we got now?
500.
Oh.
I haven't even gotten to half a mile yet.
Wow,
I need to pick this up.
Well, let's wrap this up so that Mike can get outside and get some real distance. Tom, it has been an absolute pleasure to hear the behind the scenes details of your epic walk from Manchester to Gelsenkirchen, and kind of all your thoughts along the way. An ultimate footy traveler. Thanks for joining us today, man.
Thanks so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.